Clarksburg Selectmen meeting on Tuesday, May 21st, 2024, at 5 p.m. Will all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll have a community sign update.
They're doing it now. The electricians have been here all day, and I'm expecting that to be connected
Great. It's
shortly.
It's a good time with town meeting coming
Yes.
up and everything.
MVP and everything else.
Yep. So we'll be able to get the word out, because it's always been a big issue for Clarksburg is we don't have a church or a gas station or a community.
Hard to notify.
Yeah, but there's just nowhere where the word gets out, so we're pretty scattered, so that's good news.
Excellent.
Okay, odds update, and,
No update. Donna's handling that, so
okay.
I'm figuring we'll follow up with that after town meeting.
Okay, yeah, and I remember the last meeting we just ran, I know Donna's been busy and not in, but
Yeah.
I just want to make sure she's and the auditor are aware of what's going on, and I don't want it to slip through the
Dave
cracks.
Adelson, yeah.
Yeah, so if you could check with Donna to make sure she's okay with that, appreciate it. Pine Avenue approval.
Okay, so if you want to read that, then if you guys want to vote on it and then sign it, I have to get that to Marilyn with the warrant.
Okay. Okay, the Select Board of the Town of Clarksburg, acting pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 82, subsection 21-24, having determined that common conveyance and necessity required the alteration of the layout of Pine Avenue as a public way, hereby alters the layout of Pine Avenue as a public way to include within said layout the parcel of land shown on area to be conveyed to the town of Clarksburg, area .11 acres plus or minus on the plan entitled Plan of Land, dated April 22nd, 2024, and prepared by Gutlow and Associates Incorporated. The aforementioned plan is hereby forwarded to the town clerk for filing, and for foregoing alteration of layout is hereby reported to town meeting for acceptance, adopted May 21st, 2024. So, do we need a motion for it, or just sign?
Please, no, motion and sign.
Motion to approve.
Second it?
Abstaining is a prep.
Yep.
Good butter.
I second it, and all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Alrighty, so that's that, Carl. You can
Great,
have
thank
that.
you.
Yep. All right, and now, if putting that on the warrant, we can discuss the warrant at this time. Or, I'm sorry, it's down further below, so we'll just skip the next one. We want to revise the select board meeting and times and dates, so it fits for everybody in question. So I think what's been proposed is Tuesday at 5 p.m., the 2nd and 4th, is that correct? Or
I think
Wednesday.
I thought we were talking Monday. At first I
I
thought,
mean Wednesdays, I thought that was.
No, Tuesdays are my bad days.
Oh,
gotcha.
okay.
Mondays or Wednesdays work fine for me.
Yeah, I mean, would a Monday at 5 or 5:30
Monday.
work? I just,
I think Mondays work for me, so that, why don't we say the 2nd and 4th Monday of the month at 5 p.m.?
That works.
Is that,
Works for me.
that sounds good?
Need a motion.
Yeah.
Make a motion to change the select board meeting schedule to the second, fourth Monday of the month at 5 p.m.
second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, MVP update, I just had a Zoom meeting, and MVP is going strong this first year of, and Colton affiliate, we got a grant of $120,000 last year to hire a designer to
Okay.
plan all this, so we're
Yep.
in the planning stage of it now. And they are going to have a function on May 30th at 5:30 up at the school cafeteria.
Okay.
And we're gonna break out in the groups, and we're gonna try to come up with what people want for solutions, basically in the area of Town Field, the school, the senior center. The project does include area going all the way over to Tamarack Brook, down to the dumping station on Middle Road, and then the school and senior center area, including Town Field. So, that's gonna be the last meeting of them getting public input. Starting July 1st, they're not gonna go and try to come up with some design. That's basically where we are. That, Carl, I don't know if you have anything to add or if I missed anything.
No, and then we're gonna have, and that's gonna be the day after town meeting.
Yes,
Yes.
yep. And it's gonna be at the school, and everybody's welcome. They wanna hear people's input of what, especially people wanna see in the school, senior center, community center, town field area, what we can do there. So that'll be that. Middle Road, the paving update.
Should be paving tomorrow.
Okay, I
Great.
cross-travel that, and they,
So they're gonna do one lane, and then they're gonna let that set up a little bit, and then they're gonna do the other lane. So right now, they're doing, the little cleanup and
Yeah,
grassing
they're
and,
doing all the drainage and all the cleanup. They have everything marked off for driveways, and looks like they're doing a good job, so it'll be great
Yep.
to get that finished. The one-stop grant application updates, I know we're putting in for a lot of grants. I just do have an
so
update.
4 of them are complete and ready to go. I would like to meet with you,
Okay.
and go over that. And then I also need to go and meet with you, because the mayor would like to meet with us to discuss the Millard Avenue project design work also, so we can firm that up.
Okay, and just so Dan and Colton know, because I'm retired, so I have
Yep.
time, and I'm chairman. So we've discussed in meetings all the projects we have going, so I'd just like
Do you want
to.
me to bring y'all up to speed on the various ones?
I would.
Okay, so we have 6 South Middle Road, same thing. We're gonna go for $1 million strap grant to rehabilitate it. We don't have as many culverts, so it should go a lot more quickly
Okay.
than the north section. That large, expensive culvert really did take a lot of time. So that's one project. We have the crumbling retaining wall on Crossroad where Hall Road comes out to it just above Gordon's garage. If you drive by, you can see it's got all lateral, it's spalling badly. We have the grant for the master plan, the open space and recreation plan, which is going to be done in tandem with Berkshire Regional Planning Commission. Will shepherd the process through, working hand in hand with the planning board. So that's the other grant.
West Road.
No, that's a DER grant.
What's the project on Millard Ave?
Millard Avenue we had some terrible flooding there.
Okay.
So it's stormwater management, replace the water lines and sewer lines, and then for Southern View Drive goes, it's like a P-shaped cul-de-sac, but it's not really a cul-de-sac. And when that project was built in the 1970s, they had a 2-inch water line feed for all those houses, and then over the years it has arterial sclerosis of the water line, so they all have to have water pumps and tanks in their houses in order to get beyond a pencil width of water flow.
Yeah,
So
it's the same on Hudson Brook where I live.
It-
Every one of us has to have.
It needs,
pressure tanks.
most certainly needs to be replaced. So we're going for a grant in tandem with North Adams because Millard Avenue.
It's same splits.
So that's where we are with that.
Is there any expected timeline of when?
Well, this is to get the money to design it.
Okay.
Then you have to go for a
Yeah,
grant.
yeah, okay.
I have another grant, but it's not through Mass Works, but it's through the DER, Department of Ecological Restoration, for the culvert up on Upper West Road.
Okay.
And that's probably gonna be a $500,000 culvert. It's perched badly. We have holes in it. We have steel plates embedded in the road over the holes in the culvert, and it really needs to go. So the grant is maxed out at 400,000, and the estimate that we have is a couple of years old, saying that it would be about 396. I'm thinking it's going to be more like 550.
Yeah, it's
So-
not that crazy to explain.
So we're going to pull the balance out of either Chapter 90 or the repair funding to get that thing squared away.
Okay.
So we have to get the grant applications in by June 6th, and we'll,
Yeah.
we don't,
And
we won't wait the last minute.
Yeah.
Get them in.
we got a very nice letter of support from the former mayor, Representative Barrett, supporting the South Middle Road effort also.
Yeah, and then Senator Mark also sent
Yes, he
a
did.
letter of support, so we have our representatives helping us and backing us on that, so it'd be great to have a middle road. You know,
Absolutely.
the main,
Yep.
main drive-through will be all complete. And they're gonna do from where they leave off at Woods Road all the way to North Adams line.
No, we're going to go from the four corners.
Okay, okay.
The road is in reasonably good shape, according, Lumpy said that. So that's,
Well, a few years ago, the section from Woods Road to the Four Corners was done. And actually,
Yeah.
I was actually at Mass DOT at the time, and when they came down, actually, the state had rejected the asphalt, and it was brought up to our town, and somehow a little birdie told us that, and they had to fix it. But so I mean, that was all done. It is in pretty good shape. So I just wanted to check on that. 'Cause we're asking. So any questions on any of that?
Good.
All right. Engineering of North Houghton Street.
So we want to start that before we're on South Middle Road?
Oh, well, go ahead.
No, I'm asking you, do we want to start doing the engineering on it now? I guess that we have some time
Yeah,
because we're going after South Middle Road, so we're not going to get South Middle Road in the ground. At the very earliest, it's going to be 27.
For South Middle Road, you think?
Yeah, because it's a 2-year project, so,
Oh.
I mean, we might be able to keep it to 26, that's providing we get the grant. And-
Fiscal year or actual year?
Actually,
So I'm just thinking, like, the grant's awarded this August, correct?
November,
Oh, it's November?
yeah.
yeah, they grant November.
Okay.
And that was,
Yeah.
So we wouldn't have time to,
And the expectation,
Oh, we can't go for another grant for that, because they cap your strap grant at $1 million.
no, I'm just thinking it'd be nice if they could, if we award it in November to be able to have it done the following year, but.
Well, we're
it might be-
hoping they do South Middle Road,
Yes,
award that,
yes.
but there's no way they're gonna award
both.
exactly both, but not only that, we're not ready to even get the application together for North Open.
Okay, good, yep.
right, but
So this is to engage the engineer to come up and look at it and
Yeah.
examine it and see what we're gonna need and what we want to do, and then estimate the costs and the quantities and all of that stuff.
right,
Put that together, so we do have a little bit of time.
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of bit of time, but yeah. So if you'd like, I'd like to talk about that with you too, and we'll set up a timeline on that.
All righty. We're going, Colin, just so you know,
Well, just one question, Carl. You said it wouldn't be expected to be done until 27. Where'd that estimate come from?
So you get the grant awarded in November.
Correct.
So that would be this year for South Middle Road,
Correct.
and it's a 2-year project.
Who gave the estimate of a 2-year project for
Well,
that?
that's how the program runs. Now, I could maybe tighten it down to another year. So then that means that in '25, we would be able to apply for North Houghton, but if we don't get South Middle Road, we're gonna have to reapply for that. So and
No, I'm
that's,
saying assuming we get the funding for South Middle Road.
yeah, we won't be eligible for a year from this coming November.
But we would have to have it in by June.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
so we'd have to have it in a year. and
So
a couple
we want to
weeks.
have the engineering for Houghton's.
For next year.
Done by, so next June we'll put in for Houghton.
Yes.
Because we'd like to get $1 million grant every year for the roads.
Correct. Okay.
Just how we picked Houghton Street, I sort of I thought Crossroad was more important, but after Lumpy talked to Carl and whatever.
taking a beating, this
He
one.
feels that North Houghton Street is in worse shape.
Yeah.
So it's 6 of one, half a dozen.
Yeah, it's obviously the three main arteries of the town are
Yeah.
obviously North Holton.
We have no shortage of roads to,
Yeah.
Yeah, we have no shortages, right?
No, understandable.
Okay, we're up to reviewing the articles for the warrant for town meeting.
We have to move the account downstairs.
Yeah, I think you jumped over that
Oh
one.
my gosh, thank you. Yes, wanted to talk about, when we get into accounting, we have talked about moving the accountant downstairs. I know
Yep.
we had a talk with Mike, and then, of course, the accountant we hired couldn't stay with us for medical reasons, various reasons. But we still, when an accountant comes, we're still anxious to get that moved downstairs. And I'm not sure where we left that. I know we're going to talk about the police department as a whole
yeah.
with Mike sometime
And
soon.
we're gonna have to have a plan of access and things of that nature, and we might have to put in a couple of partitions and things of that nature and doors.
Yeah.
Where,
Well, that's what was talked about. Then it came up that he thought that if that fire door going to where the main office is
Yes.
going out, if there was, that could be locked or
Okay.
whatever, then you can open up the door where Marilyn's office is and get into the other office. And I thought that was a possibility because he agreed that we don't want to go through a lot of work and expense if it's not necessary or if there's going to be some changes with the police department coming up soon. And then it was all sort of put on hold, well, because of so much going on. But
so where would the door going into the office be?
Maryland's door could be not secure anymore.
Okay.
That can be open, and then that would open up the office where Mike's office is now.
Right.
But then the door that goes into the fire.
The officer's
that would-
place, that would become
That
the,
would become the secure door.
yeah, that's fine, that's not
And-
gonna involve any moving.
No, and then that way, if he, when we have a new accountant, it'd be nice if maybe they can start in right down there or soon after it's training, get moved down there. Dan, you wanna?
No, I agree. I think we gotta prepare ourselves and give Chief enough time to, kind of clean up and, move. And I know he said he might need a new line for his computer in the other room. So at least if we get all the ball rolling on that stuff, when the time comes, we're ready to go.
Yeah, and the chief said he did check with the state because there's some issues about the
The CGIS and all that.
yeah, and it's because if it's temporary or in the process of moving, they do have some leeway and leniency. So he gave me an impression, and you can check. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but that this can be done.
Okay.
And it can be okay with the state because it's on a temporary basis until we decide what we're going to do with the police department, which we'd like to even have a public hearing on at some point. So that's down the road. But,
Fair enough.
But the office is something that we can really go after. So
Do we want to kind of set a date of when we'd like to have that office free by, just so we're, it's ready to go? I'm just thinking 2 weeks from now, or
yeah, I mean that would be. I would like to, but I'm not sure what. I wish Mike was here for that because I don't want
And
to.
lumpy.
Yeah, I don't want to put something that's not tangible with them. But I'm wondering if Carl and myself, we can just talk to them and say, hey, look, we'd like to have this done in a couple weeks and see what the ins and outs are of it. We will be.
What if we just set a date for a month from now, and then if it's available sooner, then it's available, right? Or no?
We could. I'm just thinking we're going to meet.
Good.
We're going to meet at the town meeting. That's an actual select board meeting. Can we discuss that there, or is it just for?
We can post for a select board meeting. It's not part of the meeting.
Okay.
So if we want to have a select board meeting prior to town meeting, then we would have to have that on the agenda and then have a meeting at the school would be the most prudent thing, I would think.
Yeah, I think it might be a little tough with,
It might be, that might not be a
Yeah.
good idea. But we won't meet again, until the second Monday in
Well, why don't we meet the week after? That'd be the first week in June, or if you want. Or if we can give them an update and me and you can meet and get the ball rolling.
Why don't we do it, if that's okay, we'll just meet and get the ball rolling, and then we'll decide if we need to have another meeting, and also decide when we should have a meeting and talk about the police department, have a public meeting or whatever.
Yep.
So,
we'll go with that.
all right, thank you. Okay, now we can look at the warrants. I think the best way to do this, you want to read each one and then go?
Well, I don't think reading it verbatim is gonna, I can give you an idea of what it means, because some of them are Greek.
Yeah,
And this, Dan, is the annual report?
Correct.
Okay.
Straightforward.
So we are required by law to produce an annual report.
so that's Article 1.
And there is the draft.
Oh, that's nice. Picture of Ray, he's done so much for the town.
And then
Good as always, good job, Dan.
and Rochelle worked really hard on pulling it all together.
Thanks, Rochelle.
Article 2 enables the town treasurer to, on behalf of the town, borrow money from time to time in anticipation of revenue if need be. Article 3, the compensating balance agreements is to enter into agreements with the bank in exchange for interest and/or free checking or things of that nature. Article 4 sets the maximum amount that may be spent compensating our inspectors for the fiscal year, and it's broken out by Board of Health inspections, gas inspector, wire inspector, plumbing inspector. Cumulative inspector funds are $15,000. We also retain $5,000 in fines and forfeitures for the police department. And then the cable TV franchise fee that we receive is in a special account for technology spending for upgrades or purchases for the town. So this is Article 5 is the annual compensation for elected officials. Nothing has changed. And it's kind of been that way. There is one addition, well, actually two. The Agricultural Commission Chair and then the 2 members of the Agricultural Commission. Okay, and then Article 6 is to raise and appropriate or take from available funds in a town treasury of $2,967,609 to pay for the expenses and outlays for the school department.
Backing up to Article 5.
Sure.
Are those totals correct at the bottom? Because with adding in the Agricultural Commission, shouldn't
Right.
the recommended FY '25 be $200?
I think that there was money that had been put in there. I'll add them up right now. But I think that might be because of the tree warden is no longer there.
And then the tree warden should have been on the 2024, because that,
Yeah, that would show hit
Right.
zeros for that.
right, you can't.
Yeah.
Well, he said to not give him one.
Right,
No, that's fine. At a quick glance, it just makes it look off. If everything matches up, and then you add the.
4810. I will change that.
Okay.
good
Thank you.
catch, Dan,
No
thanks.
problem.
Okay, and we did the school. Article 7. So that is to raise and appropriate or take from available funds $363,220 to pay for town share of Northern Berkshire Regional Vocational School District's budget for the fiscal year. Article 8. This would be to accept Chapter 90 road money that we get every year, and we get about $75,000 historically. You can bank it, which is what we do because we need to spend it in a larger quantity, because $75,000 really doesn't buy you a whole heck of a lot when culverts are costing anywhere from $150 to $800,000. Some of the tax changes has added to that money with the millionaire's tax and the and there's $200 million put into Chapter 90, and then there's $150 million that's got a different formula from the formula that the original Chapter 90 is, and so we're getting more money, but I don't know exactly how much and consistently. But this is authorizing us to spend that Chapter 90 money to repair roads in the town. Okay, to see if the town will raise and appropriate the following sums of money for salaries, expenses, charges, and other purposes, including loans and debts. So if you look on your budget, so every number that you see bold
Right, the totals for each section.
corresponds with the legislative, the executive, the finance, all the way through the whole budget.
So if somebody questions like one of these, how come we go back to the budget?
Yeah.
And detail it down, but they obviously at town meeting would be hard for them to go through all that, so we just get the totals. And
And the executive needs to go down $25. That needs to be in red. Well, it's all black and white in this one. That's probably because it didn't color in red. So basically, I don't know, do you have any questions on any of these numbers? They're all in the budget. And there's more detail in the budget. I think the highlights are we've paid off debt, we've overall cut town spending $113,995. McCann Tech went down $20,700, and the school will go up $129,192. Okay, so Marilyn asked, in all fairness, to see if the town bylaws could be changed to have new people sworn in, done so after town meeting, because we're asking you to defend a budget you had nothing to do with. And the other thing that is kind of driving that too is that last year, because of early voting, we used to have the elections the day before town meeting.
Yeah.
Last year, we moved it back 2 weeks to accommodate for the early elections and the vote by mail and everything else like that. So that is why, and that's.
yeah, and even a minor part of it is, I think, like the person that's going off these boards too should be here so people can thank them for their time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Maryland had made a point too, with any new, appointments or new elected offices, having it after the town meeting or at town meeting, however it
Yeah.
plays out. You could do, I think, a little more of a formal swearing in.
Yeah.
Kind of put a little more of a ceremony
Pomp and circumstance.
touch on it. Yeah, because I get to get people a little more, obviously involved.
Yeah,
Make a little more of a, ceremony out of it, so
I
I
think it would be
agree.
nice to do it right after town meeting, that'd be sworn in.
Yeah, like people were still there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Kind of finishes one administration and kind of transitions to the next, so.
that's good.
So Article 11 would be to increase the term, the number of years in the terms for the town moderator and the town tree warden from 1 to 3 years. And the reason is, and Brian Tanner even said the same thing, I have to go out every year to get signatures, to get on the ballot. And it was a pain in the posterior. So he also, Jeff Williams, our tree warden, also said the same thing. And you can see the reasoning for that. I mean, they don't pay a lot of money in any manner, shape, way, or form. And that
Which I think in the last 2 or 3 cycles, I think Ron Bouchard won on write-ins because.
yeah, and so did Jeff Williams.
Jeff never gets the signatures if here's the people want them.
Yeah, it's a lot easier if you don't have to do it every 3 years.
Yeah, you do it every 3 years and you go out and get 25 signatures, you're good for 3 years, so.
Okay, then we have Article 12 to see if we will vote to adopt the right to farm bylaw in the form attached to this warrant. And that's this right here.
And I got an email today that I meant to send it forward, I don't know if I did or not, but that Martha has a pamphlet she's gonna hand out to people before, and it's very professionally done, and sometimes when I go home, I'll make sure I email it to you.
Sounds good.
Okay, and then on the sewer, to raise from sewer user fees, so nobody who is on a septic system does not pay for the sewer. So maintenance and operations is 53,000, intermunicipal charges where the users of the sewer are paying the town to operate the sewer system, North Adams users fee, and then the capital expenses for the Hoosick Water Quality District.
Is there any projections about what the possible increases could be for?
We just signed a new sewer agreement, so they limited them to 10, they will not rise any more than 10% per year. They
10% per year?
We are 13% of the totality, and we have to read our meters every day. And then quarterly, I fill out reports and send them to North Adams on our usage.
How long is the contract for?
10 years?
10 years.
Yeah.
So really, I figured you could
It's a
realistically
renewal.
see 100% increase over 10 years.
They could,
Yeah,
and
yeah, you
if,
could, but at the same time, we really don't have a whole heck of a lot of options.
Which I know, obviously, Hudson Brook it affects because we're on that line,
Yep.
but it affects what other, obviously, what other areas does it affect?
Ribbon Road, Carson Avenue, Hall's Ground.
Okay.
It affects Wells Avenue, Belmar Avenue, McClagan Drive, Middle Road, parts of Pine Ave, North Eagle Street, School Street, Gleason Street, North Houghton, Jordan Ave, Wheeler Ave.
Okay, so the infrastructure is fairly.
Yeah, we got like 400. No, I actually got more than that.
yeah, it's almost, I think it's almost a third of the town. Between a quarter and a third of the town is on.
We have quite a few
Okay.
hookups.
Yeah. Yeah, and on Lincoln and Morris Drive, they're also hooked up.
I think they have 2 or 3 connections.
Oh, okay. Oh,
That's
right,
part of
right,
Clarksburg.
it's not the whole thing, it's just,
Yeah.
going up.
Then the next one is, it's basically a regurgitation from last year. The reserves weren't certified, they are now. So we're under an administrative consent order with the Department of Environmental Protection for inflow and infiltration. So we've done the first leg of the studying. Now we have to complete the second leg and get a plan in place to ultimately reduce I&I. In the first leg of it, they have identified, I believe it's 19 manholes that are deficient. And in addition, we have a mishmash of sewer lines on North Eagle Street, combinations of clay and cast iron and PVC and stuff.
Okay.
So that's going to pay, this is going to pay for engineering on that project. Okay, so this is the Community Preservation Act, which will be presented by members of the Historical Society. And then, what number do you have on 16? Because that changed with the,
16, 15 is the Community Preservation Act.
Yeah,
You asking
16.
the dollar amount?
yeah.
95,000.
Okay, so that's gonna change to 113,000, 371. And that is a result, so the net out of our free cash is $571,371. So we, after doing the 95, 231 for stabilization, 142 for the truck, 8,000 for the software, 72,000, what the heck was that? That was for reducing the tax rate for the school, and 5,000 for the doors. That left a balance of 18,371, so I added that to the 95,000 to come up with $113,371.
Okay.
And I have that.
And this says it can be placed into a school roof stabilization account. So it can actually all be in the stabilization fund, but it would be.
Do you not want to have a special account for the school?
I think we do. Is that what you were saying before, Dan? We should or shouldn't?
Well, I just was throwing out an idea of if we take, that 113 and we put that into free cash. I'm sorry, I misspoke. 113, put it into the stabilization fund, but we have a warrant article saying, looking for the town to approve spending that money out of stabilization if the roof project moves forward. So our money's sitting instead of sitting in a special fund, it's sitting in the stabilization fund. Because,
But
the town has to approve, this fund, here.
Right.
It would just, I don't want to say they're approving the same thing as long as we make it sound correct.
Well, it's not going to really matter. So if the money's in one stabilization fund, or two, I guess, if you isolate it, it's kind of dedicated for that, but a future Board of Selectmen can do
But we're
a
also
town meeting.
only isolating 113,000
For
here for it. If we put it in stabilization and then pull it out, we'd be isolating 167,000 was what the actual number is needed to get the project done. Because that's not.
But we have to put 231 into the other one.
Yes, we'll still do that.
Okay.
But they voted kind of take out. So I guess you say the 113 plus the 231
Right.
would go into town
Well,
stabilization.
that's what I'm asking. Do you want it in one versus two?
You would still have access to it either way, correct?
Correct.
Right, and the only reason, I guess, at the time, and part of this is probably my thinking, was that if it wasn't separated out,
It could be.
that it could be used for anything, and then people, let's say we don't get this year permission for the roof or get state funding, and it delays 2 or 3 years, the people might not forget about it, other things come up, and they'll spend that money. But
And it's have to be.
again, I don't think it's, I really don't care either way. That was my thinking when I was talking to Carl and saying it'd be nice if that money was in a separate stabilization fund so people can't just touch it without knowing what it is.
And labeling it as such.
Yeah, and like say, I probably won't be here next year, and Carl's getting old. I mean, who knows what's going to change in 2 or 3 years? And people might
If
say,
you don't
"Oh,
get old, you get dead. You might
well,
as well
and
get
they
old.
might look, and it just might be sort of
Different.
forgotten or all mixed in." So that was my line of thinking. It's up to you if you want to just have it in a stabilization fund or if you want it in a special stabilization fund.
My feeling was, if we have the full 167, I would keep it just as written because it's meant for that. But now if we go to the school building association and we're not showing that we have the full 167 available for it.
But-
That's just my concern on it.
Well, that's not how they asked the question on the application. They asked the source of the funds, and you would say town funds. That's all they want to know.
Okay.
They're not going to say, account ABC and then DEF. They're not going to ask that question on it. We can prove we have it, and
Okay.
to be quite honestly, Department of Revenue knows more about us than we probably even do.
No, as long as that's so good, as long as that's not going to play a factor. That was just my biggest concern.
Yeah.
It's awesome. you know, we got 113 in a special stabilization account, and they go, well, you need 167, so.
Yeah, and we would have to have a 2/3 either way on both of
Well,
them.
yeah, we'd say, well, we have money in the
Yeah.
other stabilization fund. I mean,
I mean,
I don't think
I
it-
can edit it however you want it, but I'm just
I
telling you.
mean, if it's gonna be fine and not cause an issue for getting the, you know, school building administration to approve it, you know, I'm fine with leaving it as is.
I would say leave it as is, and we also too, if we come up with other money, let's say even free cash next year or something, we can always add to it to get up to the 167.
Yes.
That would be designated for the school roof, which,
It really, in theory, it kind of insulates it and protects it, just designates it just for that.
It's almost like a hands-off.
yeah, right, and again, that's what I'd like, but it's up to you two if
And I'm just curious for the future, say in 2, 3, 4 years, things change and now, or the money gets paid fully, what do we do with that? Do we have to have a vote to pull it out of this, to put it back in stabilization down the road? If for some reason it doesn't work out, or if the state picked up the whole bill? I'm just wondering what the process is if you,
Well, then we would move it from one stabilization to the other.
right.
right, just
So taking it out of one would be a 2/3 vote. Putting it in the other is a majority vote.
okay.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm fine with leaving it as is, then
Okay.
isolate it. I just-
all right, then,
Yep, that's fine.
all right, thanks.
Okay, and Article 17 is to put 231 from free cash, as was voted at last year's town meeting, into the town stabilization account. Article 18, to vote to take $142,000 from free cash for the purchase of a truck with attachments for the DPW. Article 19, $8,000 from free cash for purchase of new assessor software and operation for the assessor's office.
And Colton, sorry to interrupt, I just want Colton to know that we've already discussed these things and
Yeah.
the assessor needs that upgrade, I mean,
Understandable.
okay.
And then Article 20, and so that is to see if the town will vote to take $72,000 from free cash to reduce the tax rate or take any action in relation thereto. So that is to keep us under the levy limit. So with the money that the school got last night, this is how we keep it under the Prop 2.5 levy limit.
Right, the 72,000 they need
Yes,
is coming out of free cash, and that's all this is saying.
it is, but you can't add it to their budget per se that way. So you put their budget in as a regular budget item, and then you use this to reduce the tax liability, if you will, the tax burden, so that it brings us back under Prop 2.5. Otherwise, we'll be over 72,000.
Yep.
Okay, these are the dog amendments. So registration, anything, it's putting fines and a clear indication and time frame for dog registration. Maryland wants it to be calendar year, January 1st to December 31st will make her job easier. And then also a dog litter removal bylaw, that pooper scooper law basically, that you pick up after your animal. Article 22 is the Pine Avenue, which we just discussed. 23 is to use up to $5,000 from free cash for the purchase and replacement of 2 exterior doors at the community center. That's pretty much it. And if you want, I will run upstairs and make these edits, and I will be down with the finished product.
And then we sign it.
Yeah.
Okay, are there any warrants for us to sign or anything? Okay. All right, go ahead.
You need a motion to approve the warrants as written.
Yeah.
Or you want us to wait for you to have?
I would like you to get the finished product first.
No, it's fine. Let's do the warrant, the motion that's up.
And I don't know if you know, the senior center doors, the room, not where we had our meeting, where you,
Yeah, with the
like another room, they're going outside, the whole bottom sill is rotten, and those are outside ironclad doors. We were shocked at how much money they were replaced. So Lauren's trying to work on this, that was the quote we got, but she is trying to get it cheaper she knew a carpenter in Sanford that's looking at it, talking to RK Miles, and
Okay.
so anyway, she's just involved that, but that's the most it'll be. Hopefully
Okay.
it'll be less than
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I took a look at it when I was there voting, and what was it, about $4,000?
That's amazing.
$4,000 for just a door, kind of.
It's shocking.
Surprisingly, it's not as bad. We had a perspective, we were looking to replace a door in my office and just kind of wanted to match the front metal exterior door with, glass front. It was almost $6,000-7,000.
Wow.
So it's not as crazy as you think for two doors, so, yeah, I think it's understandable.
Well, the problem, we do have two exits, you got the front door and back door, but there's a sign that we can't open that door because every time we open it, the piece of wood
Just takes, yeah.
falls off. And
Yeah,
we're
obviously,
afraid of ants and
it's a
things that start coming in.
well-used building, it's, great for the community, so,
It's good.
no issues on my
We had a bear visit, not last night, night before, our bird feeder, and we don't keep a regular bird feeder out because the bear will always come down, but we put a hummingbird feeder out, and he bent
Still
that,
got
and
that,
that solid iron, he bent that right down. He actually unscrewed, because he didn't break the thing, it actually unscrewed the top, and either drank it or who knows what he did to it. But it was scattered all over the lawn, and amazing what animals,
Nice sugary drink before bed.
yeah, amazing what animals can do. Hopefully with the MVP getting back, hopefully there's a person, her first name is Meg, she's from the ADA Commission that wants to make sure if there's any boardwalks or things going out, that they're handicap accessible. We're looking into parking, we're looking at possibly raising some of the town field up, like where the horseshoe courts or pits are, is
Yeah.
kind of sunken there, and that's technically in a wetland area.
Okay.
So they don't want to just fill it in, so they're thinking of like raising it up and replicating it somewhere. A lot of activities going on. It could, and nobody knows what the final grant will be written for,
Yeah.
but people have suggested having a pickleball court.
Yeah, it seems to be pretty popular sport.
Yeah, and maybe having a boardwalk go out beyond the town field in the wetlands, and they'll
Yeah.
make it so you can have a bird viewing site and things
Yeah.
like this. And then they're gonna try to help with drainage all around Lincoln Morris Drive and that
Yeah.
part of Middle Road. They're trying to help with the drainage coming down from the senior center. Right at the driveway where the senior center goes in, it rains there and there's a puddle there for 3 days.
Yep.
They gotta fix the culverts and stuff. So they're it could be a huge project.
Drainage definitely seems to be one of the key issues around town. It definitely
It's tough.
something needs to be addressed.
We went up, the designer actually came out, they sent an engineer out, and then the person in charge of the project. And we talked to landowners over on the crossroads that are getting flooded out all the time. And we walked from Tamarack Brook all the way down to Hudson Brook that goes in. And after all the conversation of talking to people and people across the street, it was like after Irene,
Yeah.
that
Everything
they had
changed,
problems. And we went to Hudson Brook, you could see, Hudson Brook comes down like this and it curves.
Curves, yeah.
Tamarack Brook comes right in, right at the curve.
So Hudson Brook backflows.
But in the old days, before Irene, it was like Hudson Brook, there was enough stone and stuff in here where this was really coming in down further. But Irene, all those rocks is big, it sort of dammed up.
That's for the final product, we gotta
And,
attach this to it.
I'm not sure what we can do or not do, but.
All right, Carl, so all the adjustments have been made?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
I
so-
got you each a copy so that you can check.
Make a motion?
Yep.
Make a motion to approve the town warrant, annual town meeting warrant articles as written.
With the attachment.
With the attachment for the right to farm.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, and I guess in all this, the next one is review and approve budget for FY '25.
Which is all in the air.
It's all in the warrant, so we really looked at all that
Thank
last
you.
night. So any other comments on it or anything? All right, are there any public comments?
You need a motion to approve the budget?
You need a motion to approve?
Now, we're
Okay.
approving the warrant, and the budget's in the warrant.
Okay.
All right, anything else?
Okay,
All right, well-
where's the right to farm law?
Is that this?
That's gotta go for this.
All right, we'll adjourn the meeting at 5:50.
Okay.